Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome back to the Brothers Take podcast. I am Chris, and I am joined by my brothers, Adam.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room to start a new year talking about video games, movies, and all the things that we are interested in. And we're going to use this episode to have a bit of a catch-up, basically just to fill you all in on what we've been playing, what we've been watching over the holiday period. And, just get back in touch with you guys. And if there's any of you who are here for the first time, then this is a great place to kind of start off listening to the Brothers Take, because it's kind of a new year, new start. We've also decided to take on a New Year's resolution. We tend to ramble. So our New Year's resolution is to try and cut down on our ramblings. We are going to try and cut the episodes down a little bit to keep the goods, but to make our episodes even more digestible to the audience. Because, some of it is self-indulgent. So we're giving ourselves a slap on the wrist, and we're going to try cut it down. So if for any reason you're noticing that the episodes get a little bit shorter from now on, and you're like, why is that? They used to be like 2 hours long. This is why we've decided as a New Year's resolution, we're going to try and hone it in a little bit. But we still want to have those long discussions, and we still want to have discussions with you guys. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please do jump down to the comments at any point to share your own thoughts. And if you enjoyed this at any point, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell for future content. If you listen to us on audio platforms, and you can also touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to give your take on everything that we bring up here today. But without further ado, let's kick off 2022. I suppose to kick us off, let's start with like what games we got to playing over the holiday period. Eric,
Yes.
I'd like to come to you first.
Okay.
What you play over the holiday period?
I played a tiny bit of the very unknown game, Deathloop.
Yes.
Played a bit of that. I then got the deluxe edition of Death Stranding's director's cut. I've played too much of that. That is an addictive game. It's a dangerously addictive game. I have shit to do in my life. And then that game comes along, and I'm like, oh, sure, I'll just make that one delivery. And then it's like, sure, I'll just make another one. And then before you know it, it's like next year. I played some Sea of Thieves with you two.
Yes.
Adam graciously gave me a loan of his Xbox 720.
He doesn't know the naming scheme. It's the Xbox One. Obviously, which is the
Xbox
third iteration
One.
of the Xbox.
Yeah, they should really, I don't know, come up with a better naming system.
Tell me about it.
Just imagine parents trying to get that back in the day.
Well, imagine it's parents trying to get the Xbox Series X and picking up the Xbox One X.
Oh yeah,
It's an easy mistake to make.
Or the Series S, and they end up with the 1S.
Yeah,
which is the one that Eric you're currently using.
That's one of you. Anyway, so I played a bit of Sea of Thieves. I also was playing the demo of Halo Wars 2. Not the demo, the tutorial. I didn't get past that, but not that it was hard. It's just stopped playing it. And then I played and cleared Gears 4, and I'm currently in the middle of the campaign of Gears 5 with Chris.
that's right. Yeah, co-op.
That's what I've been playing.
Well, hold on, just for a moment then, because we did all play. That's a lot. Yeah, we all played Sea of Thieves online.
We did.
Let's all talk about that for a moment. Using Game Pass, we're sponsored now. It's fucking great crack.
It's good crack, yeah. It's very good crack.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being great crack on your own, to be honest.
It's okay. I mean, once you get into the swing of it, you're like, oh yeah, and you can do certain things on your own, and it's kind of funny on your own because you feel like that, Jack Sparrow at the fucking beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean on his own little little boat. You can complete stuff on your own. Yeah. And some people like to set challenges for themselves. Like, so you're a solo player, but you're going to try take on the 4 player and take their ship and run away with it.
But I found the joy of it was like, um,
team banter.
the random occurrences
Yeah.
that you don't expect, and then just like everyone reacting to that, even like that moment where the Kraken came, like we heard bad music and we're like, oh, something's coming. And I was like, well, fuck. I don't know, like you had played it before, Adam, but you were like, I've literally never seen the Kraken.
No,
It
I've
was our
never
first...
encountered the Kraken.
I know, and it was like our first time playing, and I was like, well, what's that then? You know, but it was mad, like
that fucked us up.
Yeah,
sure.
big time.
I remember it grabbed me with its tentacle, and I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" And I had to try to stab it and get out of it, and then it just fucked me. And I was like, "All right, you're gonna throw me back onto the ship. That's fine." And then I just went flying over you to another tentacle, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, it was like playing piggy in the middle with you.
Yeah.
It's great crack though. If anyone hasn't tried it out yet and has an Xbox or has Game Pass, I would highly recommend jumping into it with a few friends, because it is.
Get yourself a crew.
Yeah, get a crew. It's as much fun as you make it, really. But it's laid out pretty good. Like the quests it's pretty cool the way they're delivered to you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, well, because that was the second quest that we were doing, and we still didn't complete that. It can,
yes,
you can kind of go off a little bit on
like little tangents things.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, what's that over there, and then you go do that. And it's great that it allows you to do that. It's not like once you have a quest, you have to stick to the boundaries of that quest. You could just leave it and come back to it later if you wanted to.
I must say as well, for an online game of its nature, very clean UI.
Yes.
Very clean, tidy. It's tasteful to me. I'm not the biggest MMO fan, and this isn't an MMO, but it's got some DNA of an MMO. But it's just a really clean, tidy looking game. I like it. And the water looks great.
Yeah, the water's fantastic.
That's a recommendation from us over the holiday period. But Eric, you were also playing the campaign. Well, first of all, Gears 4, what was that like? You played that yourself?
That was good. It was nice to get back into the world of Gears of War. I can understand why. I'm pretty sure some people didn't really like it. I can kind of understand why, based on a lot of chapters were too short. And it kind of just felt like they were making loads of chapters, but the game wasn't that long. It was only like maybe half the length of any other campaign. Okay. So it's actually that, or I just really burst through it very quickly.
That is possible.
But it was
your playthrough of Resident Evil Village was shocking, like
yeah,
in terms of shockingly quick, like
yeah. What was it, 2 hours?
Like 3 hours something on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, but for like,
not in my Disney daydreams.
Yeah, I did have my sleep. But Gears 4 was still really cool. I still liked it, but Gears 5 is definitely the superior one to this new trilogy of new characters. But Gears 4 was good.
I jumped straight into Gears 5 because I was looking for something on the Xbox that's a very story-driven but also fun experience. And I looked up a couple of lists for recommendations from people, like what kind of story-based game should I jump into on the Xbox, and Gears 5 was top of the list, nearly every list. And I was like, okay, there must be something special about this one. I'm just gonna kick straight into it. So I did the first act on my own, and then was like, Eric, do you want to, like, if you're playing Gears 5 as well, why don't we do the next bit co-op? Because he was in the middle of Act 1 as well. It's fucking awesome. Gears 5 is awesome. It's so good. It's fucking awesome. It's violent. It's scary. It's dark. It's emotional. It's the music is amazing. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
The really cool thing about the co-op with that particular game compared to all the others, because with all the others, when you're doing co-op, you more or less see the same thing. But Chris was playing as the character Kate. I was playing as Dell. But Chris would see things that only Kate could see, and I wouldn't see it at all.
Yeah, so the character Kate is like suffering from hallucinations, and they'd come up on screen, and on Eric's screen it just looks like I'm just standing there doing nothing. His character's like what the fuck are you doing? But I'm after seeing it fucking crazy, and I'm like, did you not fucking see that? And he's like, see what? And I'm like, oh, that is amazing. That is so good. I was like, I'd have to like describe what I'd seen, and so then I was like, I'm like the character now. I sound fucking crazy. That's
mad though, because like, I mean, Gears 5, how long's that been out now? 3 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that it's better than 4. That's all I've heard, though. It's better than 4.
Sure,
So,
right.
But like, you don't hear like people going on about it like the way people talk about God of War or Uncharted or something like that.
No, and look, no, it's not on that level,
Okay.
but it's just really good. It's a really good Gears game. You know, if you're into the Gears games, this one is great.
Reminds me, it does remind me a lot of Gears 2, but even more focused. But even more focused on the character. Like, actually, Gears 2 was pretty character.
Yeah,
focused.
it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Gears
it's back to that. So Gears 4 was kind of actually reminiscent of Gears 1.
Right.
Oh, okay.
In that it's a very clear, we're soldiers, we're fighting some enemies, we got one job, and we got to keep going from place to place to place to get that one job done. So Gears 4 is like that. While Gears 2 it starts off with the war, and then it develops into a much more personal journey, and Gears 5 is like that.
Do you feel Gears 4 was possibly kind of rushed to get a game out?
Might have been, because again, a lot of the chapters are really, really short. Like with Gears 2, let's say the entire sequence in Gears 2 when you're on the big fucking moving fortress, and you're on the Gatling guns and you're blasting all the locusts coming out, and then you have the scene at the end where you're fighting and Scourge comes along and chainsaws some people, and then you drop down, and that was the entirety of a chapter, and it was actually quite a decent chunk, meaty chapter. Gears 4 was like, you're on the big moving fortress. That's one chapter. Then the fighting when you're off it, fighting people, that's another chapter. You know, that's the way they did it. Okay. And it was like everything was broken, like all the chapters are much smaller, so it's kind of like, it's a bit weird. But it was still good.
How's Deathloop, Eric? You mentioned that you played that, and that was obviously one of the ones that got nominated for so many fucking awards.
Yes.
So there was an element of curiosity on us before the break.
There was. Starts off great. And then once it gets into the graphics and sound and everything are really cool. The voice acting, the two characters are really good.
Okay.
Their performances are very good. There's a bit of, I'm not 100% sure it would be dark humor, but there's a bit of humor in the confusion of the character, which is quite entertaining and has this nice sort of 80s vibe to it, which is what they were going for. But then once it kicks into the kill all the targets, that's when it's like, and the repetitiveness now has kicked in.
Okay.
And it's like when you're killing the targets, there's nothing really much to it. It's kind of like you get there and you're gonna, oh, that's one of my targets. Oh, they look like the same as like everyone else. Oh, okay. So it's not as engrossing, I suppose, as what they could have done when it comes to taking out a target. But yeah, I mean, it's a very well made game. It's very fun. It's a fun game.
Cool. Okay,
do you feel like it was overhyped a little bit with the whole awards thing, or?
Yeah, probably. I might have been more impressed with it if it wasn't so advertised all the time. And if I had gotten it before I saw all the awards, I might have been like, this is actually really good. But because there were so many awards, it's kind of like it dropped at a level maybe.
Right.
Expectations higher.
Playing it after the hype. Yeah. Gotcha. Adam, what did you play over the holidays?
Oh, I had loads of plans to play everything, and that just fell apart. I played, obviously, Sea of Thieves with E.
Yeah.
Played little bits of Forza.
No.
And Halo Infinite campaign, or not campaign, the multiplayer. I haven't got the campaign yet, but the multiplayer to Halo Infinite.
Yeah. It's fun. It's
fun.
really fun.
Yeah.
It feels old school, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of like it's some stuff of it has that like kind of old, like there's things that could have been improved upon, but then if they did it, then it's like not Halo anymore. It's like there's a certain level of clunkiness that they need to hold on to. But if you go back and play some older Halos after playing that, Jesus Christ, it's it like no sprint or the buttons have changed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I like the additions of it that were added to it. Some of the weapons are really, really interesting, and it's just unlike other shooters where, you know, if you always aim for the head in other shooters, you're always gonna get them eventually. But in Halo, it's a little different. You really need to learn the weapons understand them and which ones are up close, which ones are far away, and all that kind of stuff. But other players, they're amazing at it.
They're fucking ridiculous at
They're
it.
really good.
I am shit, but I enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't like, so I'd look at my like kill death count, and my deaths would always be more than my kills, like in every match. Sometimes not too bad, but in other ones where it's like, that's fucking embarrassing. But I never was like, fuck this game, I'm shit at it, and I feel like shit, right? And so I would feel like that in some first-person shooters, but in that it was just like, okay, yeah, whatever, let's just go again, because it's just fun. It's fun to play.
Yeah, well, I think you played with us, so if you're on your own, it gets salty, for sure.
Well, I did. I played some multiplayer on my own first to give it a go, and I've started the campaign. I'm a little bit into the campaign. It's not one that that's kind of why I ended up jumping into Gears 5, though. I must say, I take it as like I'll do like 2 missions and then turn it off. I can't seem to play it for long chunks of time. I don't know why. Like it's
grabbing
fun. It's fun and it's great, but yeah, it's that there's too many little side objectives to do, and a lot of them are the same. It's just clear out a base. So it is actually very repetitive. But I'm looking at the map going, there's a lot.
I'm surprised you jumped into it.
Why?
Without doing any of the others, I'm surprised.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I to be honest, I was just like, I want to jump in. I don't want to like wait. Like, I have a lot of catching up to do on the Halo series.
Me too. I've just cleared 2. So I'm working my way through it at the moment.
But I was like, I kind of want to jump into it while everyone's on it, right? I'm like, I feel like my experience of it would be similar to if someone jumped into God of War having not played the previous God of War games.
Well, I asked it, because I thought it would be similar to that. I thought like this would be just a fresh start almost to Halo. And I asked people who've played the entire Halo series and are very familiar with it. I was like, do I need to play the other Halo games? Because the only one I've ever really cleared was 3.
Yeah.
A few years back I cleared 1, and I only just completed 2. So I'm kind of running up through it. But I was told by 2 friends that yes, you would need to play all of them in order to kind of get what's happening in Infinite. And I was told by someone else that you only really need to clear 4 and 5.
Okay.
Because they're saying that Infinite is part of
like a trilogy.
That trilogy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the events of 1 to 3 is like its own self-contained stuff, and then it's 4, 5, and Infinite. So I don't know. I'm just going to run through them.
I'm sure the stuff that's happening would resonate more had I played the others, but honestly, I have the gist of it. I'm not like, this isn't like if you jumped into Metal Gear Solid 4 having not played the other Metal Gear Solids. Like, they're not that fucking like deeply intertwined. Like, there's probably things I'm missing where I'm like, so like little intricacies about when he's mentioned Cortana. It's like, oh, what went down between like Master Chief and Cortana?
Okay,
that kind of stuff. But I'm also like, I'm going to pick it up as it goes on because they keep mentioning Cortana. So in a way, that element is like a mystery to me that's going to reveal itself.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's really his voice is amazing. Oh my god, he sounds so cool. No matter what he says, there's like a cutscene at the beginning. It's amazing where like the guy is like, I only have 1 bullet, and he's like, it's enough, and he just takes it. I'm like, oh wow, and it's a cool cutscene.
Yeah, I do feel though like that's one criticism I would have about the Master Chief character.
Sure,
he's cooler in the cutscenes than he is in the game.
No, he's like, I mean, the gameplay definitely matches his the way he goes on. It's just there's never any doubt in him, ever.
Oh yeah, he's super confident.
All the time. It's almost tiring.
He's like, it'll do. It's fine. I can do this.
Yeah, but it's like Batman.
Yeah. It's like Kevin Conroy Batman.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy Batman is like, oh, but there's like a whole army. Yeah, they need more. Like he's
yeah. You're just like, yeah, they fucking do. You're Batman.
He's Batman in space.
I guess so.
I don't know. I get what you're saying, but at the moment, it's working for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that is playing into that vibe of where I'm like, yeah, I'll do a couple of missions and then I'll turn it off because I'm not seeing it as a very heavily story-driven game. Maybe other people do. I don't know. I'm not seeing it that way at all. I'm seeing it as, this is fun. I'm having fun playing this. But also,
it's not like Horizon Zero Dawn sort of open world story-driven game.
I'm certainly not like, oh, I need to binge the shit out of this. I need to see how this ends right now. You know what I mean? I'm taking my time with it, but I'm having fun with it. I'm not like crashing the game either.
It's certainly a shooter first. story, second kind of game.
Yeah.
The series in general.
Yeah. But super fun. Yeah. So I got an Xbox Series X at Christmas.
Finally.
I am on side Xbox now. No, I like them all, but I've got Game Pass, and I get it now. I get it. I kind of got it before, but now I really get it. Now I'm like, oh, cool. So in my lull periods between big blockbuster games, I play this stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's a lot of shit on it, isn't there?
Yeah, and I tried out a good few. Like I haven't finished anything because I wanted just like a taste of different things that I'd missed out on. So like I jumped into like Forza, I jumped into Hellblade. I did jump into Halo 1 before I tried out Halo Infinite. I played a bit of Gears 2 just for a bit of nostalgia. Then of course I've been playing Gears 5, Sea of Thieves. So I've played quite a lot with it. And I've been enjoying the fuck out of it. It's great. I did share an unboxing experience on the YouTubes. Check it out, everyone, if you haven't yet. Subscribe while you're there. And my first impressions of playing the Xbox. But yeah, it's and you know what? I have to say as well, I've really grown to the design of the console. I really have. In the it's weird. Like in the beginning when I first saw the unveiling, I was like, it looks boring. Like it just looks like there's something like at least the PlayStation has something like a bit of edge to it. But seeing it actually in its little home, I'm like, I like it. It's simplistic, but I like it. It's I don't know. It's a really neat design.
I've started to prefer it as a design over the PlayStation.
As a design.
Well, I don't know. I actually find I'm turning it on more. I'm turning it on more than PlayStation as well. That's
well, it's far use have fallen.
Yeah. Well, it's quieter. It is definitely quieter. It is way quieter.
Oftentimes, it's faster to get into a game.
Yeah, it does turn on faster.
But it's just there. I suppose if I was to knock it in any place, it would be the controller. I do think the controller is pretty poor.
I mean, it's fine. It's okay. But it's like
I actually think it's a downgrade.
When you compare it. Oh, really?
From
the Xbox One?
From the Xbox One, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little lighter. It feels plasticky, or it doesn't. And I think they're aware of that though, because I think Phil Spencer has said that that's one area they need to improve on is the controller, especially after seeing the DualSense.
Well, one thing where I would knock it on the controller, I must say, and I have since gone out and bought something to try and remedy this, but the fact that it runs on batteries, that's stupid. That's stupid as fuck.
The fact that it still does that,
that is stupid as fuck. Like a rechargeable built-in battery should have been one of the first things in the design. To me, I was shocked when I saw batteries because I didn't know that.
What are these?
Well, I was just like,
when's the last time you saw batteries?
Yeah, was this the Stone Age? Like, what the fuck? Look at the design of the PlayStation controller, and it's all built into it, and it's perfect.
Well, the fairness, like, if you do think about it, with PlayStation, never has their controller needed batteries.
No, but then here's the thing: I was like, that's fine, right? The batteries. I was like, they'll last me ages. They didn't.
No, they don't last long.
They ran out on me like in the middle of playing Gears 5. And then I was just like fucking shocked. I was like, Jesus, I need to get recharged. Like, what if I didn't have spare batteries? It's like, okay, game over. Like, we're done. We can't play with you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like they had a little like bar up on the screen to let you know how much of the battery you have left.
Yeah, and I mean the official. I got the official battery pack, which is I think it's about 20 quid.
Right.
So the Xbox controllers they're cheaper than the DualSense, but if you add on the battery pack, it's actually more expensive then.
Yeah.
And they don't offer as much.
Yeah. And then if there's not that, then there's buying all the batteries if you don't get the rechargeable one, which
it's definitely
even more expensive over time.
Yeah, that's annoying. But that's like, and again, I'm not bashing the console. I'm loving the console.
No, but I do think the controller is.
You're bashing the controller.
Yeah.
That's one cool thing as well with the DualSense. Because Death Stranding does utilize the vibrations quite well. Not as well as obviously Astro's Playroom, which was designed for it. But like there would be, as you're stepping over dirt or over rocks, there would be little vibrations. Or
what's Death Stranding like with it?
That's what I'm explaining.
Sorry, you said Deathloop.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know what the fuck that.
So many
is.
games with death in it.
Yeah. Death Stranding, sorry, is what I'm talking about. It's when you're stepping over rocks, there's the vibrations, and when you're interacting with different things with vibrations and everything like that. So it does utilize it quite well. It's quite subtle little vibrations, but it's still there, which is quite nice.
That's cool.
I didn't mean Deathloop at all. I meant Death Stranding.
Actually, out of curiosity, while you're there, is the Death Stranding director's cut? Would you think that is now the definitive version of the game, or is it just unnecessary add-ons? Do you know, like is that like if someone's going to jump into the game now, should they absolutely get that one, or is like you just get the other one?
Well, because of the structure of the game, I'm not 100% sure there's like useless add-ons.
Right.
Because the game is so vast, open world, and because it works off a delivery system, like a lot of just delivery missions.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I would recommend the director's cut because it just gives you a lot more items that can help you out.
I also think the loading is probably hugely beneficial.
Sorry. Yes. Also that the loading is way faster. Way faster. But yes, I recently got the little buddy bot. So the buddy bot is just a pair of legs with a little cargo holder on top of it, and you can just put shit on it, and that can follow you around. So the director's cut will give you more customizable things, as well as new items to help you out on deliveries and to help you take down enemies. And then the loading is way faster, and the kind of graphics are slightly improved. Like lighting is quite improved as well.
You cleared the Death Stranding before, didn't you? You've played that?
Fuck yeah. That took me 6 hours to complete that end.
And are you enjoying it more now with the director's cut? Because you weren't too sure about it the first time, right?
Well, yeah, now that I know how the game works, I feel like I am Sam, and I've been in this world for quite a while, that I know how things work, so it makes getting into it a lot easier and doing deliveries a lot easier.
Okay.
I'm building the shit out of those roads.
Yeah.
God, those people are going to benefit so much from my roads.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you don't really like, it's sometimes in games there's always those like building a town or building a city or something like that. You just give them resources and that's just going to happen. And you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it in Death Stranding either, but it really pays off if you do.
Yes.
If you spend
it's one of those
time.
games that I want to jump into, but it just seems so daunting to me.
Yeah, it would have been perfect during the pandemic, really. That's the time to play it. Actually, is during...
and especially with the year that's coming up now, I'm like, I don't know if now is a good time to
start. Now it's not a
that
good time.
game.
No, not if you have all that shit on Game Pass as well.
But 2022 is packed. Packed with games. I even we put up like our top 5s or whatever on Instagram, and then like there was a comment going, oh, no Starfield and no Elden Ring or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, those are big games too. And I was like, and there's loads more I could name. Like there's so many coming this year, or supposedly coming this year. I don't know if they all will. There's a couple that probably will get pushed out, but still, like fucking whoa, like big difference to last year as well.
Huge.
But those are a lot of the games that we played over the holidays. But we also got to watching couple of movies, some big movies maybe in the cinema that a lot of people have seen, and also we probably watched some movies at home and some TV shows and things like that. So before we get around to the 2 big movies, which we'll only do like a non-spoiler take on because we wouldn't have enough time to dive into everything about those, which is Spider-Man No Way Home and The Matrix Resurrections. We saw those
I don't know. I don't know that second film you just said.
But Eric, is there anything else that you watched over the holiday period?
Well, I watched Arcane season 1 again over the holiday period because it is for me a phenomenal TV show. I do recommend anyone who is into that style of show. And then my recuperation actually after Adam and Pagan's wedding. The day afterwards, I got home, got all comfy at that Tato crisp sandwich, cup of tea.
Oh, that went home with me.
Oh God, it was so good. And I watched the entirety of season 2 of The Witcher, which is a huge improvement to season 1. Now I love season 1, but this was a huge improvement.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of elements you recognize from the game, I imagine.
A few different things I recognize from the game. They have a few little. I imagine Henry Cavill kind of came around and went, We should include this in the game. We should include this.
I'd say so, actually, yeah.
Apparently, he does that a lot on set. It's like actually in the book they said this, and we should probably say this.
That's kind of nice.
It's good to have someone like that on set.
I think
he's
more.
a fan.
I think more sets need. I think I remember I saw on Facebook where any film or TV show that's basing something off a book needs the book slapper, which is someone that comes around and slaps the book on the table as like, no, this is what happens in the book.
Yeah,
do this.
You know what? I would be okay with that in a lot of circumstances, and maybe that should be applied as well for
video games,
video game movies. Yeah, so
Yeah,
go,
100%.
no. Yeah.
Wesker's not like that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But yes, like it's a much more coherent story, and the budget went up a lot, and it's the CGI actually, the design of the monsters, fucking hell, super cool. Yeah, good show. That was the two shows I watched.
Adam, did you watch any movies or shows over the holiday period?
Yeah, watched my Christmas movie, No Time to Die.
Nice.
And
Great movie.
Following on, then I watched a couple of Bond movies then. So, Octopussy, View to a Kill, The Living Daylights, and License to Kill.
I mean, 4 great movies. I don't care what anyone says. Some people say otherwise. Those are 4 great fucking movies.
Actually, I'm actually like, as I'm watching because I've gone through from the beginning, I'm taking pagan through all the Bond films.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just ranking them as I go as well. And I'm really interested in like some that I thought I absolutely loved have come way down, and ones that I thought I despised have come climbing up.
Right.
It's quite
That's
interesting.
Cool.
For example, Moonraker, which I thought was the worst Bond. I used to hate that.
Yeah.
That's like mid tier for me now. It's like middle of the list. It's gone up above A View to a Kill, above You Only Live Twice.
Oh my god!
Above The Man with the Golden Gun. I was
that's
genuinely surprised. Well, The Man with the Golden Gun was one I used to love.
I know. It's only because Scaramanga, though.
Not great, actually.
No, it's not a great movie.
It's kind of a shit film.
Yeah.
And I actually
Where's The Living Daylights for you? Because I know you like The License to Kill, but I'm a huge. I think The Living Daylights gets forgotten a lot.
So far, License to Kill is sitting at number 1 because I have to go through the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
So License to Kill is number 1. The Living Daylights is number 2.
Wow,
aren't they 2 great fucking movies?
Yes. The Living Daylights is way better than I remembered. I do think there's a bit of unnecessary stuff in it, like they were trying to maybe cram too much into it. But
yeah, it kind of falls off towards the end.
But Dalton's performance as Bond is incredible. Yeah. Incredible. He's really good.
He was really reluctant to do it, and also he was like, I don't want to wear the tuxedo. He like tried as many times just to wear like leather jackets and things and try and casual up Bond as if like he's just some guy in the background, you know? It's he had a really interesting take on it.
I do like that they play blackjack, isn't it, in License to Kill? Isn't that what he initially played? Like he didn't play. He's not a poker player. He's
in the book Casino Royale, I believe he's playing backgammon.
Oh, backgammon, right?
Against Le Chiffre. But when they were making the movie, they were like, "This isn't as exciting to watch as the whole poker's more cinematic because with every turn of a card, you can see like what that means. You know,
yeah.
Backgammon's like a quicker game. Like you lost." You know,
but I just sat down.
Yeah. But and as well, your License to Kill, they're both really overlooked. Your man from License to Kill, the villain, he is great.
He's amazing. Yeah, and just the like, I mean, the directing isn't great, I have to say, in both actually. They both just happen to have really great cast of characters. They play them really well because he's the same director, I think, as A View to a Kill and Octopussy.
Oh, is it?
And Fear Eyes Only, I think.
Right. So he had a run at it.
Yeah, so you can kind of see that, like, his directing isn't the best, but the performances are really, really good.
Yeah, and the soundtrack to Living Daylights is fucking
teasy,
awesome.
Because the actual Bond tune is fantastic. It's really good, but it's just there's not enough of it. I feel.
But the Pretenders theme song is awesome. Do you know the one that your man with the milk bottles listens to, and then that
Oh
kicks
yeah,
in
yeah,
every
yeah.
so often? That's awesome.
What I like
That's
about
great.
that is like that's like the From Russia with Love dude, really, isn't it? Like back again,
Yeah.
to some degree.
But you know what's cool about that scene?
Hmm.
Sorry for anyone who hasn't seen it. When he goes in and attacks like the MI6 agents, and he's about to
Oh,
get
and
cuffed,
the MI6
right?
fights back, like.
And it shows it from his perspective as if he's the hero and this guy is the villain who
Yeah.
nearly wins, but then he wins over. And it's an interesting choice because normally you're like, well, right, this guy is a villain that Bond's gonna have to fight later, so we should show that he is unbelievable, and like, how is he going to fight him?
Yeah.
But they actually show him like he's like the hero of his own story who struggles and overcomes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool choice. That fight is brilliant.
It's a good film, and it's fun watching it. I mean, just to tie this back into the game, and like we were watching it, and Pagan's like, "Oh, this is Uncharted 3."
Yeah, the plane sequence, which is still
Well,
one of
not
the
just
best
the plane
sequences
sequence,
ever.
but it's like, oh, you saved the guy who, the Afghan, like,
Yes,
Oh,
resistance
right,
leader,
yeah.
and like then you're on horses, and then it's like, and then
yeah,
we get the license to
the whole
kill.
convoy sequence. Yeah,
Well, license to kill has the convoy sequence because it's the trucks, and he's jumping from truck to truck, and it's like, yeah,
yeah. That era,
It's-
has really
it's
played.
Uncharted.
Yeah, and some of the best Uncharted movies ever made.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I don't know if I watched anything else. I think that's pretty much it.
watched a ton of movies, ridiculous amount actually. Most of the and I was even like, I'm not excited for these, but I just fuck it, I'm gonna watch them. So I watched X-Men Dark Phoenix. I watched Terminator Dark Fate. I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. I watched Tolkien. I just watched so many fucking movies. I was just like curious about. But the one I want to talk about is I watched Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh, is that out?
No. No, it's not really. Well, yes, you can pay to watch it. I watched it Mortal Kombat style. But anyway, because I was like, I don't need to see this in HD.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think that
That's
will
probably
make
an
a
improvement, was it?
difference. I don't know, but
Makes it reminiscent of PS1 graphics.
I will say this. I'm being totally honest. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Not a good movie,
Right.
but better than I thought it was going to be.
How does it
has
rank
pretty good-
to the other Resident Evil movies?
Hard to say. Better than some for definite. Better than some of them for definite, but like also of similar quality. It's just that the tone is different. It's less Matrix kick-ass and more B-movie horror.
Okay.
You know? So
Okay.
like the tone is off, but the quality of filmmaking is in some cases very similar. But I think technically some of the other ones are probably better made movies than this is. This seems lower budget in some scenarios. But the pacing was pretty good up to like a point, and then it just rushes to the end, and then it feels like a non-conclusive movie. And then some of the characters, if you're a fan of the games, will piss you the fuck off. Wesker is one of them. You'll be like, how is it that I much prefer Wesker from the other series?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's really off.
Wesker in the other movie series isn't
It's an
completely.
impersonation.
Yeah, he's not way off. He's just not making it good.
No, but as well, he's not like a believable character in that sense.
No, he's
But it's
not.
just like an impersonator that you got in.
Yeah.
But this version of Wesker is like, what were they thinking? Like, it's just weird. And it's like that with a lot of the characters. I mean, the script is bad, but some of the sets are actually really cool. Like, they'll step into the mansion and you're like, fuck, that's the mansion. Or they step into the police department and you're like, that is identical. They have the statue and everything. That is literally the police department lobby from Resident Evil 2.
Maybe it was
Like,
a set
it's
department that
identical.
wanted to make the film or something.
Maybe they had all the money. Well, apparently he got in contact with Capcom and he got their blueprints to design the sets. So he actually built the sets to look like the game. And to be fair to him, you can tell he's a fan of the game. There's a lot of stuff in there where you're like, that's directly from the game. There's even like the truck driver eating the burger. They have the shot of him picking up the burger and it's identical to... Now, like, who's going to care about that except for people who played Resident Evil 2 and go, that's from the game! You know?
It looks just like that.
Yeah. But that's the other issue I would say about the movie as a whole in terms of a movie watching experience. It relies on the fact that you know the game. And if you don't know the game, I do think by the end of it, you'll be like, what was that about?
Okay.
You know, so it's like, I know what a T virus is and I know what a G virus is, but if you've never played the games or watched the earlier movies, you have no idea what a T virus or a G virus is, and they don't explain it. So it's just that's what's doing it, and that's it. But yeah, it was a fun watch because I was at home in the mood for watching kind of shitty movies.
Out of all the films that you just mentioned,
Mm.
which was the worst? Because they sound like a barrel of shite, to be honest.
Well, yeah. Do you know what it is? Like, technically, Resident Evil probably is the worst made movie of them, right? Like, technically speaking.
Okay.
However, that and like Dark Phoenix and like some of the other ones were better than I expected. Whereas Ghostbusters Afterlife was worse than I expected.
Okay.
And as a result, all I could say is that's the one that I probably enjoyed the least.
Wow.
But I can't say that it's the worst movie, because technically it's probably not the worst movie. But it just, yeah, it was a bit too... It's Force Awakens, like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
you know, how much did you like Gozer? You know what I mean? Like, how much did you like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? You know, how much more of Zool do you want to see?
Yeah,
You know?
it's like I
So,
really disliking this over reliance on nostalgia. It's basically meme culture in a movie.
right.
Is what's happening lately with a lot of films, especially that came out in the last couple of months.
Well, speaking of those films, and I think we should probably start with Spider-Man No Way Home, because that did actually come out before Matrix. So let's give our thoughts on that movie now. This is going to be non-spoilers, because if we're to do a spoiler take on these, we should do them in their own episodes, because that would be deeper dives, you know, probably more discussion. We probably will do that over the next 2 episodes, actually, because these movies, and as well the games and the like the other media that surrounds these characters, is worth discussing in their own episodes. So that's actually, we will do that. But for now, Spider-Man No Way Home. Adam, for the crack, I want to come to you first. Your non-spoiler take. Let's get the internet to like kill Adam. Because I found your reaction when I read your reaction to coming out of the cinema, I actually laughed out loud. I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
I can't remember what I said.
You were like, I think I need to go to an optician's from all my eye rolling.
Oh yeah. I did not enjoy it as just a kind of summary of my experience with Spider-Man. And I guess because it's over reliance on nostalgia, I felt that I think my description of it was, it's basically the Expendables, but with Spider-Man in it. Now the Expendables are shit films. They really are shit films. You only like them because it's like, oh, that's that guy from that movie, and he's fighting that dude because he fought him in that movie, and that's kind of cool, I guess. That's this.
Right. Okay.
And that's my experience. So I think without all of that, that the film doesn't have anything. It doesn't offer anything. It's not a good movie.
Wow. Okay. This is why it's the brothers' take.
Yes.
It's a take. It's not a fact. It's a take.
Oh, well, nothing's a fact. I mean, you can't tell anyone. Like, you could watch the consensus of like what would be considered the worst movie in the world, and you can enjoy the hell out of it, and you do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, hold
If
on.
it makes you happy. If it makes you happy.
You can't say there's no facts.
In terms
Around,
of
like,
whether a movie is good or not.
Music and games and movies, yeah.
You can't say it's factually shit or anything like that. You know.
On an artist, anything that is quite artistically made, you cannot say is good or bad. As for my opinion of Spider-Man, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. Nostalgia is a powerful thing that, when used right, can make a film. But there has been times when it did not do a good job, where nostalgia is not done well, and it kind of breaks the film. This one, I think they did nostalgia very well, because I think they allowed each. I mean, Spider-Man and his friends are friends in it. That's not really why we're watching the movie. It's kind of like the Dark Knight trilogy. You're watching it for the villains, not the hero. So I found that like the villains were the more entertaining and interesting part of the movie. Willem Dafoe's performance
No, he's in it. He's in the
Okay.
trailers. You could say that. We can't say
Is he?
much
Because
more
I
than
only
that.
saw like a grenade.
Yo, you hear
No,
his
no.
you hear his voice.
You
in
hear
the
his
Right.
trailer.
voice, and you do.
Yeah. And then he did interviews
Yes.
where it was like
Okay.
he's in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Straight up and honest. Anyway, his performance is phenomenal and it's very good. There's a sequence in the movie that was amazing. It was great. I like that this film is showing that when Marvel wants to be serious, they can stay serious, which is great. And then also have their time for their jokes and humor, rather than a lot of Marvel movies in the past where like, well, hold on, they're being serious. No, we have to shoehorn a joke in here because we can't have too much of that going on. So that was nice. I very much enjoyed the film, but I did watch it a second time with Chris and Ash. Ash came with us, didn't she?
That's right, yeah.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have to. Did she actually come?
Clarification. It's okay. She doesn't watch this. It's fine. But there was some things in the movie where it's a bit like, that's useless. That character's kind of useless, actually. That line is useless. There was some stuff in it which was a bit like, I was distracted by nostalgia, and then on a second watch, that was all gone, and I was able to watch and see, yeah, it's not flawless. It's not flawlessly amazing. There's definitely flaws in there, but some of the things it deals with is very good. That's why I enjoyed it.
It's interesting because I enjoyed the movie more the second time.
Oh, okay.
So on first viewing, I still feel this way. On first viewing, for me, there was a point in the movie where I was like, if this doesn't start reaching the hype that everyone's fucking talking about, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people. I was like, this is as good quality as the last two. I was like, and I'm not the biggest fan of the MCU take on Spider-Man. I'm a Sam Raimi Spider-Man guy. I like when Spider-Man is dealing with hard choices, personal demons, tough decisions, and his life starts falling apart. That is the Spider-Man I like. And I was like, there's some shoddy lines. The characters in the movie laugh way more than I did at any of the jokes. Like, I was like, this is not funny at all. It's not a funny movie. I don't know who's writing these jokes, but it's not funny. However, there is and there was bits I liked. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like I hated all of it, but I was like, I enjoy it as much as the last two Spider-Man movies, where I'm like, yeah, there's stuff I like, but overall, it's not working for me. Then there's a point in the movie where I swear to fuck, a different director comes in. I don't know who he was, but it's shot differently. The music changes, the tone changes, and I'm like, wow, that's what I'm talking about. And anyone who's seen the movie knows the point I'm talking about.
I don't, because
And
you said this to me before going in,
Really?
and
Really?
I spent the whole movie trying to figure
I'm
out
shocked.
what's this bit that he's on about.
I am shocked because I'm like, from that point onwards, I'm like, not only is it Tom Holland's best acting that I've seen, but the rest of the movie, I was like, I'm loving this thing. I'm having a great time. And as a result, from that point onwards, I'm like, it's my favorite of the MCU Spider-Man movies. Still not my favorite Spider-Man movie. I've heard
I'll
a
be
lot of people say
interested to get into the spoiler discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, how do you not know the shot I'm talking about? Where it's like, oh, that's like a good shot. That's a great shot right there. Like, that's good filmmaking.
Because there's a couple of decent shots in the previous movies too, you see. So I don't know.
I mean, there is. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, but there's just like, there was some like shoddy dialogue earlier on, but then towards, yeah. But by the end, anyway, I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I had a really good time with it.
That's
I think
good.
I think it's a good movie.
Good for you.
Not, I still don't think it's the best Spider-Man movie, and I still don't think, like, from the trailers, the talk of multiverse stuff, I don't think it's the best multiverse Spider-Man movie. I don't think it did anything better than Into the Spider-Verse.
No.
And the Spider-Verse is incredible.
But I agree with Eric. Willem Dafoe is fucking awesome in it.
He is good in it.
He is awesome in it. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet for any reason, and you're interested in Spider-Man, I would definitely recommend going to see it.
Sure,
I do
everyone
think you'll
has definitely seen it.
enjoy it. Yeah, probably. So we'll probably get into the spoilers on that next week's episode. But before we do that, I actually feel sorry for Adam, because the next one we're going to talk about is The Matrix Resurrections. And again, just our non-spoiler take on it first. And in a future episode, we will actually get into our deeper thoughts on it. This is probably one that less people have seen.
Yeah.
Probably.
But
Yeah.
it is the movie we were probably most excited for based on the trailers coming out.
Yes.
I certainly was.
Last year. Yeah.
Mm.
Eric, how did you feel about The Matrix Resurrections? I'm not ready to come to Adam.
I enjoyed the movie. I did. I actually enjoyed the movie as I was watching it.
Do you know what? Hold on. Before you go any further, good
Okay.
for you. People should follow their own opinions. Never mind anyone else. Eric, if you enjoyed this movie, good for you. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good crack. It was a good crack movie, which makes it not a good Matrix movie. That would be why. I mean, I can't explain really why without actually going into spoilers. But I found actually the film kind of got less good the closer it got to the end.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that.
Actually, the start and everything was like, this is actually a really good drama, and it's quite actually interesting. And then just kind of as it gets further, it gets a little bit like, okay now. There's a bit in the middle of the movie where like, that actually probably would have been a better movie. That bit right there would be a better movie.
I know the bit you mean. I think everyone's saying that too.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I'm more interested in that. Why'd you skip past that thing?
That thing's awesome. That shot alone, awesome. That's kind of my non-spoiler opinion is that it's a good crack movie.
Okay. Adam, your non-spoiler take on The Matrix Resurrections.
So the opening to that film, like, and I don't mean the opening scene, I just mean just literally the opening shot is the best thing in the film, which is the camera in the puddle, and there's like just the way that shot is incredible. Mm-hmm. It goes downhill fucking fast from there. Like, it's just it's not a good movie. It's a terrible Matrix movie. If I'm a huge fan of the Matrix trilogy, I even really like the third Matrix, which is kind of unheard of. But I love the third Matrix movie. And this has none of the... It's got the... It kind of reminds me a little bit... You know, like with Star Wars, the new trilogy, it looks like Star Wars, but to me it doesn't feel like Star Wars. Or any of the new Star Wars shit, actually. Mandalorian, all of them, right? They look like Star Wars, but they don't feel like Star Wars to me. And that's what this is. It's like, it's in the Matrix, sure, but this doesn't feel like the Matrix, the core of it. Generally, the Matrix, it's a philosophical movie, trilogy, and this has none of that in it. Like, I mean, there's a little bit, but it's like, I don't know, Lady Bird's first book to philosophy, maybe, but it's not like as in depth as the original trilogy.
No.
Philosophy for Dummies.
Yeah, well, that would be a bit more advanced, I think. It's and the action is pretty mediocre considering how far action has progressed in films like John Wick or even the Marvel movies have way better action than these do.
You're being too kind. The action's shit.
The action's terrible. Yeah,
it's not mediocre. It's shit.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. For me,
it's definitely the worst Matrix movie.
Yeah, well, for me, okay, so the two trailers, it was the most exciting looking movie to me coming out last year, and it goes to show that just because trailers are good, actually, sometimes, and it makes me a little bit nervous about some other movies coming up. Not totally nervous, but a little nervous. Yeah. Sometimes a trailer can be 100 times better than the actual movie. This happened before with Doctor Strange, actually, where it was like,
the trailer was great,
and the movie just wasn't anything like the tone.
Iron Man 3 is another one. The Age of Ultron,
that's true.
Age of Ultron was a good trailer too.
Yeah. So the first trailer to The Matrix Resurrections was like, it looked like, oh, this is going to be a really deep movie. That's what it looked like. The one with the White Rabbit song.
Yeah.
And the second trailer, which I told you not to watch because spoilers, looked like a fucking hyped up, awesome action fucking trailer. So I was like, if it has the two of those things, that's what I go to The Matrix for. This is it. It had neither of those things. And then the analogy that you brought up about Star Wars, I feel very similar. I was kind of thinking this in my own head, where I was like, to me, the movies steadily decline, right? Now, in saying that, I am a big fan of the trilogy, and I am someone who defends the trilogy, even though a lot of people would say after 1, just stop. I like 2 and 3. However, here's how I kind of feel about it. Matrix 1 is the Star Wars original trilogy. It's a masterpiece. It's amazing filmmaking. Everyone should watch it. It's one of the best films ever made. Matrix 2 and 3 are like the prequels.
Prequel trilogy, yeah.
There's some effects that are outdated already. It was trying to touch on some things. It's clearly not to the same quality filmmaking as the original. However, they're still pretty good, and they don't deserve the hate that they're getting, or as much of the hate as they're getting. Like, not everyone's going to like them, but it's like to shit on them that hard is like, that's ridiculous. This one is the sequel trilogy, the Disney trilogy, where it's a fucking mess. It's a missed opportunity. It's like, yeah, after all this time, you get the actors together for this, like,
and it's over reliant on nostalgia.
It's way over nostalgia, and it thinks it's being clever doing it as well by working that into the story. It's not clever. It's fucking not clever. It's trying to be Final Fantasy VII remake. It's trying to have its cake and eat it too, but it doesn't do anywhere near anything as clever as Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
So that's my take on the Matrix Resurrection. But of course, like we said earlier, all art is subjective, and we would love to hear from you guys, because a lot of people love this movie, and a lot of people love Spider-Man.
Well, I get people really.
Yeah, a lot of people love Spider-Man like much more than any of us were saying, even.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people do love the Matrix Resurrections. A lot of people think it's the best one since the first one.
Oh, that's interesting.
We'd love to hear your take on that, and why is that the case? So, if you are watching this on YouTube, please do jump down into the comments to share your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this at any point, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell for future content. In the next 2 episodes, so the next one is actually going to be a Spider-Man themed episode, and we're going to get into our spoiler take on No Way Home, and everyone's going to kill Adam, and it's going to be great.
We're going to have a real big think about this.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And then the follow-up to that will be a Matrix episode, where we'll give our actual spoiler take of Matrix Resurrections, why we feel the way we feel. And we'll also just be talking about the Matrix as a whole, maybe some of the games as well, including that Unreal Engine demo that came out just before Christmas, because we haven't actually spoken to anyone about that. So
that was better than the movie.
So we'll get to talk about those things as well, and a real spoiler take. So do ring that bell so you know when they come out. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, then you can touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on everything we brought up today. And please do follow us. Thank you so much for listening. As promised, we have shortened down our ramblings, and we'll be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.